In terms of the first question, there was a good bit of buy-in with both the branding effort and the economic action plan, and a desire to be more specific, to move forward on that momentum and move the ball forward was a phrase that we heard a couple times. In terms of the second question, people see opportunities for Berlin as being a retail center, especially around outdoor activity, not limited to activity, outdoor activities, of course, though it does, in Roger Brooks's terms, have the capacity to be the provisioning center. When people come to Coos County for the grand experience, it has the capacity here in Berlin to be the place where people get their provisions, as well as other sort of retail opportunities in town. With the third question about snow machines and ATVs, this is generally seen as a positive opportunity, so there's a lot of discussion about building the infrastructure to make that possible. There were some really creative ideas about working with hotels, and a hotel were to locate here, make sure that it is ready to receive ATVs and snow machines. They're able to come into the center of town, that there are storage facilities so that people don't need to haul their machines back and forth to wherever they're coming from. There were a lot of successes cited around Berlin. One of the big themes that came out of this part of the discussion was that there seems to be a lot of success in terms of collaboration. People working together in creative ways, especially in the private sector. People in combination of private sector or working in collaboration with public officials to make good things happen, like the movie theater, like the Cornerstone building. There's a lot of renovation of buildings that's happening, and all of these efforts that are sort of flourishing, even in small ways around town. There's a feeling that's moving in the right direction. In the public sector, the Route 110, Phase 1, Unity Street development, sidewalk, associated green spaces, these were all seen as successful things that are happening, bright spots as well. The Nansen Ski Club, certainly a bright spot. And optimism too. Going back to Chris's survey about the optimism that's here in Berlin, people in our group are certainly seeing that as well. The fifth question was, in what ways should we measure our success in terms of economic development? Population growth is obviously seen as a success, one way of measuring success, and that can be both in terms of retaining our young people. Instead of having young people move out of the community, if they stay, then that's one way to measure success. Another way is if new people come into the community, then that's an indication that things are working well because the community is attractive. Business growth, expanding tax base, job growth, building out the information technology infrastructure are all seen as measures of success. And then there are some other ones that may be a little bit harder to measure, like improved aesthetics and people feel more secure, and that downtown is an attractive place for them. And so again, we'll be looking to the Karst Institute for that periodic. Was it every 3 years? Yeah. We'll be looking for some movement on perceptions of how well things are working in Berlin. Increased enrollment at White Mountain Community College, seen as a measure of success. Kathy, you'll be happy to know. In terms of other ideas on question 6, there's a desire to do some research and development with making use of some of the city's other potential assets, such as methane from the landfill, generally diversifying the business sector. Every session we've had so far, somebody has mentioned something about a community club or YMCA or something of that nature, and that certainly came up again today. And there was, on a number, throughout the conversation, a few people made points about the need for more transportation infrastructure, better roads getting to and from Berlin, connecting Berlin to other places.
Confidence in the course of action and what you would add. Everyone agrees that it was important to network, like with the branding project. Main Street is the focal point. Branding is further along, so it has some good detail and a good path forward. Some ideas were a little vague. How do we deal with the housing? We've certainly heard a call to action, but not a concrete plan at this point. Where do we start? With a block, with zoning, with what? And there was a lot of concern about the health and appearance of the downtown. And the second question on the city role in economic development. The city needs to have oversight and jumpstart these activities. We're working on revitalizing the buildings. We're at the beginning, but we need to educate people that there's the tax relief program that needs to be promoted. There's already things being done, but we can do more. And an important piece is that people need to get involved and take action. We can't just rely on the city for everyone. We need to get involved. And again, going back to the education role, what's available? Education on the code issues. What we can do, not what we can't do. Guide people through the process. And the city council is willing to work with people to resolve those issues. The city should be proactive with parking plans, create parking. There was some discussion about a business improvement district, a TIF district, whereby the increase in taxes stays in that district. The downtown is critical to our tourism. The details are important. We need to give businesses incentives to encourage them to make those improvements. The city's role could be to eliminate the bottlenecks so business can happen, be the facilitator. Relative to the tourism, ATVs and snow machines, we need to market activities to the users outside of the area. We need to better label the trails and parking so it's more user-friendly. We can't put all our eggs in one basket because of global warming and increased energy costs. We need to promote other things like our river and our hiking and those types of activities. We need to have year-round events. Again, going back, promote all the resources. Provide a map of businesses and activities. Give itineraries so that we plan for people, the details and the experiences so they can just come up and enjoy them. The success stories. We've got a number of success stories. We've got the federal prison, the Cornerstone, the Bidpa Clark with the pellet plant, and people like Al McLean, local people with energy and enthusiasm that just need to be connected to the right people to make their plans happen. So measures of success: increase in traffic, higher wage level, more jobs, people coming back, both the visitor as a repeat visitor as well as people coming back to start businesses. Population growth, a positive reaction to downtown. We talked about some negative stories that people hear. More improvements like the Glen Avenue stretch and the Cornerstone. Increase in number of events, diverse opportunities, online survey, and then sort of some of the overall additional comments were that it's easy to criticize, but ask what they would do to improve the situation. A bulldozer is not always the solution. We need a retirement gated community, not a subsidized project, but a quality situation that will attract elderly from outside. And that it's critical to get dollars in, not out.